Okay, my friends, if you haven't been with me before, I'm about to change your world in a giant way. Now, did giants ever exist? Absolutely. It isn't as crazy as you may think. This only goes back 3 months ago. And the reason they're doing this is because I've been touting about the giants. Only my giants are giant giants, not these little puppy giants, 8, 20 feet tall, little tiny things. I'm talking about giants, and you're going to see them right now. And not only that, my giants have this behind them. DNA certification, PCR DNA. 36-inch fingertip, I will show you that. Lung, which is right here, about the same as us, and a fingertip from another giant human being. Yes, absolutely giant human beings. Stay tuned. Alright, I have a bunch of stuff from this hand, and that hand is 36 inches wide, and it's a left hand, and you can see this right here. Let me back this out. You see the bumper in your hand, like this bumper part is this here. And if you look at it carefully, you can see, it's almost like it's puttied on there, but it's a different type of tissue. And this runs down here, which is like, if you open your hand back and look, you got one of the same things. And then it runs over here. Now this silvery part is what they call grip skin. And I'll show you some anatomical things of that. Now this is one of the fingertips from there, and this was CAT scanned, and you can see where the blood vessels are and everything in the CAT scan. You can see all the little blood vessel tubes, and we had DNA taken from deep inside and right from a blood vessel, and it was DNA certified human mitochondrial DNA. Now, and that's the small hand. That's 3 feet wide hand. Now, let me show you a fingertip, and then I am going to show you the actual fingerprints. We'll look at them carefully. These are the fingerprints from the next thing that I'm going to show you, the fingerprints. And this was also DNA certified as the same, well, I don't know if the same, but it was DNA certified as human mitochondrial DNA. Okay, my friends, now we have a distinction to be made. Things have changed. These are ancient remains of creatures which are primarily humans. That's absolutely human. That is absolutely mitochondrial human DNA, and it is absolutely a giant human fingertip. CAT scan, DNA test, an anatomist, same thing here. Now that is a new species apparently. Now here, the reason I'm pointing, and this is a bone, obviously it's a bone. However, the stuff I'm showing you is what's called mud fossils. And these were preserved, it appears, and from all the chemistry I've done a lot of it, and I've recreated this process. They call this feldspar. And what it is it's the fabric of life. These are fabrics, literally fabrics. And then there's bloody muscle tissues in there. But there's a lot of bloody, aqueous transition metals, your blood, and all the fluids in your body, obviously. Now, however, in the mud fossils, because they're in an aqueous mud wet solution, molecules that will stabilize the contents like this. This is bone marrow. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it? Hold on, let me get this. I want to try to make this make sense to you. All right, you see this here? Is that black? I don't know if you're going to be able to see that good. But that is in us bone marrow. And it's bloody. Now, what is in blood? Well, there's iron and there's all kinds of transition metals. And what are transition metals? They're the things that create colors. Copper and bronze and gold and silver. Those are the things. Now, when they bond with something, though, they turn into a black substance like this. But then they mine these kind of things, and then the alchemists used to be able to put other molecules in there, and they would like make other metals just all of a sudden to particulate into these solutions and fall right to the ground, like, you know, gold and everything else. I guess that's what they say they did. And I can see they could do that. I've seen them do it with, boy, what do they call it? Quicksilver? I can't remember what it is. There's something that they do, and they put a little drop of something in, poof, and it all particulates out of the, and it's all shiny metal. I can't remember what it is now. There's a ton of things that they can do, and they do, is that we never see or we know about. But the mud fossils they've ignored. And it's time to really pay attention to them, and that's what we're going to do right now. Because here's the reason I'm going to point this out. This is kind of crazy. Because this guy here, and he just happens to be a guy, I'm not pointing any fingers at him, saying anything bad about him, saying anything good about him. I don't know him. I have no idea. However, I did email him, and we'll see what happens if he corresponds. Very few do, and anyway. But they're looking for ancient bones. Now, this goes back 2 years. Almost exactly 2 years, 2018. Now, and this is August 19th, 2020. So, at this point, they're still looking for bones. I'm telling them, stop looking for the bones, look for the mud fossils. They're everywhere. And this is, like I say, DNA tested, CAT scan. There's no question about it. It's just that they don't want to acknowledge it because it changes everything, which it really, really does. Now, so they're finding these ancient bones in caves. Well, I've been watching, obviously, I've done a ton of research on this, and I've watched a ton of videos on where they're going through caves and their digestive system. And I'm saying to myself, these are human bones. These were eating people. They were eating people. They didn't... You know, maybe they did go in there and do the little carving here or there. Maybe they crawled in there and found these bones and decided to sanctify them for some reason. I have no idea. But I see no reason to think that they couldn't be eating them. I have one on my property here now that equates to approximately a 200-foot tall creature. I'll show you the fingertip of it right now, and I could see him eating a person like us in 2 or 3 bites. All right, I'm going to show you the fingerprints in a second, but see if you can follow what I'm going to show you here. That is a fingertip. Basically like this, only this one's a little more eroded. You can barely make out where the fingernail was, although in the CAT scan you can see it much better. Now, this obviously didn't have a CAT scan. I couldn't move it. As a matter of fact, I tried and had to get surgery on my shoulder after I was done with this thing. Now, that is the fingernail. You see it? That's the fingernail. Now, right there is a bone. That is the bone, and that literally is, I believe this is a thumb. I'm not 100% sure. It could be a toe for all I know. But each bone is going to bump up against the other bone of your fingers. And where they do, they meet and they do this, and that's what it is. And then there's like tendinous material that comes in, it wraps real tight, and that's what allows your fingers to do all these things. Now, I understand this pretty good. And this one has the same thing. See, this one has the same basic same thing. Now, it's more eroded. This one's almost like brand new. And I mean really like brand new. These are the fingerprints. I'm going to show you what grip skin is like and what the fingerprints are like. Now, if you could see this break here, I broke this piece off so I could see how thick the skin was, and it's this thick as the grip skin. Grip skin is tough and thick, and it's on your fingers, tips and your palms and your soles and so forth. Now, this wrapped around like this. So this was on the other side, just like your fingerprints are on where your fingerprints are. All right, now we're going to look at it, and I'm going to shadow it a little bit so you can actually see the sweat pores. And you see how it's defined, right? The edge, the skin comes right here, and then your fingerprints start. Very strange. Very strange. I think it might have been right up in here. That was like right at the very edge of your skin up here. This is not fingerprinted, but then as you start coming not far away, it starts making the fingerprints. So let's take a look. Alright, I talked about grip skin. Now, I can't obviously show you that gigantic fingerprint, but I can show you the piece from it that has the grip skin and actually has the actual fingerprints that look just like this, exactly the same. Now, here is the other, giant fingertip that's from, the giant's right out in my backyard, and it's the whole hill there. I have parts from the feet, I have parts from the arms and the hand, and all kinds of stuff. Now, this is the grip skin here. Now, this part's eroded away, the grippy part, and I'll show you the grippy part though on the other one. However, there's a fabric that I will show you that is pretty much in the tough part of your body, the tough skin. There's actually fibers. I'll show you. They're very, very clear. Now, let's just look at this. Hold on, I got the, here it is right here. All right. Now, I'm going to probably turn the light off so I can get a good shadow. Now, don't forget now, what I'm going to be talking about, and I will show you, this was right up next to the fingernail. It was right, the fingernail really almost started over here just about. And almost like your, well, it's just exactly the same. It's a fingertip. Oops. Now, this is the thickness of the grip skin. Alright, that's the thickness of it. See, that's the underlayment part. So that would pretty much be right up there, like this. Alright, this is this. Alright, now, I should probably turn the light off so I can get a little more. Hold on a second. Oh, drama. Hold on a second. Now, here we go. The same stuff as that. See it? Okay. Shadows sometimes bring things out better. Now, you can see these are the fingerprints. Now, this is so dramatic, it's amazing. But anyway, that's the thickness, and that is this bumpy looking stuff here. You see it? That's the grip skin. Now, below this, which is ripped off now, right down to here, virtually the same thing, exact same thing. This is that. And this up here is the fingerprints. All right, now underneath that obviously is out in the field. Now, these were put in piles on stone walls. And this thing was gigantic, gigantic. I'm sorry, the thing, well, let's just take a look at it one more time. All right, I told you about the grip skin. Here's the fibers that are in the grip skin. This is where you have the real tough. And it's all of these little spots are blood spots. Well, I don't know exactly how to say, blood vessels, whatever. They supply blood. You know, that's why they poke your finger and the blood comes out. Okay, I don't want you to get confused. There's two different giants. There's one that's a mud one like this one, brown, and this is really small actually. This is the fingertip, but it's small compared to the other one. This is the other one right here, which is, well, you can see 12 inches, 24 inches, about 30 inches wide, 36 inches long, and this is the fingernail. I think I showed this. If I didn't, well, you have to bear again. Anyway, now this literally, you see this curve right here? That's this curve right here. That's where the finger skin goes up against here, and then it started into the fingerprints just over the edge. That's just like yours do too. They start way up here, right up on the edge. They're not just on the bottom flat. So this was like here. I broke it off here, and that's the thickness of the grip skin. And I showed that, or I will show it. I think I've already shown it. And this is the actual fingerprints. Now, of course, they're laying over. I showed you the way that is the fingernail, and you can actually see where it's not. It's a different substance. I mean, it's so obvious once you start looking at things. And that is the bone in the end. And he said, I'm going to show you, or I will. Well, let me show you right now. This was, as I told you, there's ligaments that come down the side, or tendons, and they come down and they snap in on both sides of the finger. Now, and they anchor just like this. And if you look in an anatomy book, they show it just like this. They come down like that, and then there's a big round jobber that comes down, and the same thing on the other side, and it locks in. These have the same thing. They lock in. Now, so that's one, and here's another one that's completely eroded away, but it has the same things that lock in. See, it has those angles. And that, if you're an anatomist, or you know what it is, that's a distal phalanges bone pattern. And the reason it's black like that, I hope you can see that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But the reason it's black like that, it's called bone black, and that's the leaching of the ferritins, the black transition metals and so forth that are in your bones. And they create all kinds of good things. Now, this is the arterial side, blows right out. You see, that's the artery. Boom, they blow out. Boom, blows out. You see the red blood in there? You see that? See that? That's where the red blood comes out. Now, the other side is the vein. Now, you can see the little pinchy looking jobbers there, you see it? That's where the vein is, but the vein has a pinch to it, and has a pinch on the vein side here too. But also it anchors right there your veins. Yeah, I'm sorry, your tendons, and that allows you to move your fingers and do all that stuff. Now, all right, so I think I showed enough of that. I hope. All right, I just showed you the giants I have right here on my own property. And they're everywhere, so I don't have anything special. And I have two of them. The mud tip one, which was DNA certified, was the one that looked like this. And it's 7 inches wide, 7 inches long. It's very eroded, and it's almost absolutely a fingertip. And it's, I would say 50 feet tall, somewhere around there. Now, if they're exactly the same as humans. Now, I think this is a toe, the big one, because it flares out like that instead of coming back around at the end. Like, anyway, it could be a finger, it could be a toe. 36 inches long, 30 inches wide. The bone is in the end there. You can see the fingerprints I showed, or I will show one way or the other. Now, I would say that one's 150, 180 feet, something like that. And that's just real raw guess. But you see these. Now, everywhere in history they are written about. So this is not me just guessing. Not only that, I have the DNA certified evidence show the mitochondrial DNA is the same as us, human. You know, and I probably showed the DNA report in this, but it's very, very easy. Well, here it is right here. Hold on. All right, here it is right here. These are the things, and then I had the lung done as well, because these were all found right on the same property, very near each other, all above ground. I didn't dig for this stuff. Well, maybe I dug for something, but not deep. Not deep at all. Anyway, all three of these tests were done 5 years ago. And this was PCR tests. They were done very well, and it came down to and the negative controls and all that. Two of them had dense DNA. One of them was not quite as dense, but it still showed up for this Homo sapien mitochondrial cytochrome B gene and this Homo sapien mitochondrial D loop region. That's the only thing to test it for. And yeah, and the 36-inch tip, which was that big gigantic one, and the lung right here, and then the other fingertip was also on this, but he's showing, these two showed extremely dense, and he said they were very dense. And these are all the sequences and all that. And this was, that's Tom from Helix Biolabs. Now, that was 5 years ago. And I still have the specimens here, and they are available to be tested. And now they're starting to come around, and they agree, yeah, okay, these things are all testable by DNA. Back then, I was being called an idiot. You can't test that. That's crazy. And Tom stepped up and did this. You know, I have no other affiliation with him. I paid him to do the test, and he did a fabulous job. And I applaud him for being a man of science. The same thing with Jesse Grant and Associates. They did the CAT scans. They did 7 CAT scans for us. Absolutely fabulous in the interest of science, and I applaud them. Jesse Grant and Associates. They're in Michigan and Canada, I believe. And absolutely the top. And they do racing car engines, industrial equipment. These people really know the business. And they were as gracious as any human beings I've ever dealt with. Okay, so inevitably it gets to this point after I had displayed my information, and it is stunning and crazy and people's heads start to explode. What does it mean to me? Well, let's think about it. The truth is, my friends, I'm just going to tell you what actually did happen, and I had nothing to do with this. I'm nobody special, trust me. I have a lot of things to apologize for in my life. I haven't led any special life now. However, one morning I woke up, I said to my wife, I'm going to go in the woods, there's something calling my name. I went out there, and, you know, not that specific day, but within a day or two, I found the giant human beings. I came back, and I did search on a computer, and here's what happened. I'm telling you, it just happened. I don't know why, but I put in giants in history or whatever, something like that. It's a regular Google search, just like you do, and it came up, and it said, these things are for you to see and for others as a test. And that just dropped me to my knees. And ever since then, I have been fighting people. And literally, it's very hard to have you understand how hard this has been pushed back against. With the evidence, DNA, CAT scans, specimens, anatomists, chemistry, over and over and over and over. Now, it's finally, I can't see how they can continue to go against this. Even within the last few months, they're talking about, oh yeah, well, maybe there was giants. They were 8 or 10 feet tall. That wouldn't even be an amoeba. Let me show you something, how big, well, I don't have to show you. I've shown you probably in ad nauseum, and I have like 1,000 videos about this. And I have all the chemistry. I have everything to prove every word I'm saying. I haven't made one statement that I cannot support with physical material evidence, and they have not made one statement that is against my evidence. It's against my credibility because I am not certified by their peer review people. All right, think it over. Think it over. Yale University, Harvard, all of them, every top university is the same. They say, show us where you're published. And otherwise they don't want to invest the time. Let's give them, I'm going to cut them a break and tell them that, you know, I know you don't want to invest the time thinking that I'm not credible. However, it's becoming apparent who isn't credible and who is credible and who isn't. And right now, I'm the one that's credible. I have the evidence, I have the support, and it's starting to turn my way. So you better turn your way quickly. All right, I'm willing to engage. It's really not a big, hard thing to understand. However, it's going to make a difference in every bit of the way you teach and everything that you say. Because all of the things that were said in these ancient or religious texts, which is said the thing that really tips them off, now have to be taken as let's look at them again. I'm not saying they're real. I'm not saying they're factual. I'm not saying anything. But when I started going back and looking, everything I see back then points to the things I can see now. And the things that are being refused now, even back then they were saying they would be refused. It's a very strange time to be alive. Very strange. All right, I love you, and God bless you, whatever God that might be. Okay, I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to think about doing some Zoom meetings or some kind of interaction and somehow have people ask me questions. I can display my screen, then record it as videos and put them up. But this is like a membrane, and that's gigantic. That's only the lower layer right here of the membrane. Then between here and up above, there's this squishy bilipid, they call it. It's lipid fats and aqueous gooey, wetty stuff, and then there's another layer just like this up above, and he has it 6 feet above. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. This is over a foot, 2 feet across, and these are these ion channels. Now, I'm planning to do these videos where I can have other people ask questions about this, and hopefully I'll be able to show their stuff on the screen. Like Heath Bowman, he's got some stuff that's just absolutely fascinating. Everybody does. Like Kim and Tish and everybody. Scott Wiles and Greg and John Slutno. I mean, I'm covered with people now. I know I missed about a bazillion other people, but what can I say? Nobody's been allowed to say these things, and when they did, they just, oh, that's just nothing. Right now, they tell Tyson, oh, that's just lava, that's nothing, it just happens. And the same stuff with mine. I said, well, I got a DNA tested and CAT scanned and anatomist and everything, and then I never hear from him again. So, anyway, we're going to get into this Zoom meeting thing. Somehow we got to get it around so that people understand. I mean, I'm pretty much being shut down. So you're going to have to start talking up, otherwise it's just going to be between me and you, buddy.